welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink. Thank you for joining us on this especially humid episode. Absolutely, it is a warm one. It's been one heck of a hot summer. Not sure where you are, but still sweating here, even though we're on the other side of August. Looking forward to some of those cooler days to come. But in the meantime, hope you have a nice ice cube for your beverage here. We're going to get right into it. This one is all about old comics. That's right. No three-mans for $5, no movie posters, no records. This one is all about the paper, folks, because, after all, we are old guys who like old comics. And so we begin with Tippy Teen. And oh no, the cover's coming off of it. That's no surprise. This one came out of the dollar bin. And some folks might be saying, out of the dollar bin? That's quite the score. Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. These Tower Teen comics are hard to come by, but this one isn't in the best of condition. It's missing the back cover, and as I was reading it, I discovered that there was, in fact, a coupon cut out, but fortunately, I can still join the Tippy Pal Club, so, it was $1 well worth spending nonetheless. But this is Tippy number 6. This is fantastic. It has some wonderful Sam Schwartz artwork. There's Tippy and her pal Go-Go showing off some of the latest fashions. Oh, yeah. And then here is Tippy Teen number 24, and this is the penultimate issue. That is right. Tower gave it their all. Yeah, they sure did. Their superhero comics were wild. They were intense. There were a lot of them at the time, but somehow they just weren't able to dethrone Marvel. Their teen humor comics, similar to that as far as it goes. They even used some Archie creators, but they couldn't unthrone the Riverdale teens from their place at the top of the teen humor spectrum. But Tippy Teen nonetheless, these are terrific books. They're a lot of fun. Like I said, this is Sam Schwartz artwork. This is the second to last issue, so really glad to add this one to the collection. Tippy says, "Don't blame me, Tommy. You know how black picks up everything." And hey, hold on there, you ho-dads. Rein it in. Okay, and then here's a really cool book. This is Amon, the Amazing Man, number 11. How do I know that? Well, I had to go online because, as you can see, this one is missing the cover. But nonetheless, this is some very exciting Bill Everett work. This particular story, Purification, where Amon is purified by fire before being sent back into the world of men. This back cover actually looks like they attempted to purify it by fire. It's not in the best shape. Missing a couple pages there, but almost has a pop art kind of vibe, so why not? One-of-a-kind comic, absolutely. So speaking of one-of-a-kind comic, how about this one? Maybe it's not one of a kind, but it's pretty unique. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 134. And I have to consult my notes because, as you can see, the top of the book has been cut away. This was a common practice back in the day. Distributors used to cut the titles off of comic books, unsold books. They would send them back to the publisher and they would get credit. And these were supposed to be destroyed, but as we all know, they weren't. Thankfully, I grew up on these books, especially the comic pack. This has a stamp on it indicating it is a comic pack book. Now, these were sold 3 for 25 cents, and my old man worked in a place where they performed this exact operation. So I'm not really sure. This may very well be from Pittsburgh, so that would be pretty nifty. I mean, who's smiling now? Me. Obviously. Oh, looks like there's a moth in here. Oh, man, no matter what I do, they still get in. We're going to keep going down that Spider-Man road. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 253. And this is right when I got back into Amazing Spider-Man as a comic. My parents had thrown away all my comics when I was 11, 12 years old. And so there was a little patch where I didn't have any books whatsoever. But met a couple friends who were into books, one of which told me about a little place called Ides Entertainment in downtown Pittsburgh. And so I went on down there and I found a copy of this very book. Now, this is the second appearance of the black costume in the Amazing Spider-Man series. Still looking for 252. Here's number 254. And that is a very striking and dynamic cover. This is in the midst of the Hobgoblin saga. Here's Spidey on the Hobgoblin's battle van. And then here's Amazing Spider-Man, number 255. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a Ron Frenz cover. That's right, Pittsburgh's own Ron Frenz. Thought that was really cool as a Pittsburgh native myself, that a Pittsburgh artist was drawing Spidey. Even a ghost can fear the night. This is the Red Ghost and his super apes. And, well, he's pretty impressed by Spidey's costume. Absolutely. Well, I'm a die-hard red and blue guy. I got to admit that black and white costume definitely hits an emotional beat for me. Not so much a fan of Venom, you know what I mean? I just liked it when it was Spidey's alternate look. And here's Peter being torn between those two looks. You know, is wrestling with, whether he wants to be stylish or whether he wants to be classical. Number 259 would show that he, in fact, went with the red costume. And here's 260. And here he is fighting the Hobgoblin. Some more wonderful Ron Frenz artwork. Very dazzling cover. And then how about this Charles Vess fully painted cover, and Spidey's seen better days. Absolutely. It looks like Hobgoblin is triumphant. And then we're going to jump right on up to 269. And this was a very exciting little two-parter where Spidey took on no less than Galactus's herald, Firelord. And this was a thrilling issue because Spidey was going up against someone, who was basically tough enough to take on, the entire Avengers themselves. And as you can see, Spidey ends up coming out on top. Although not without, some life-threatening scrapes and some truly exciting moments. You just got to read the book. I would highly recommend it. I would also highly recommend Hercules go back to his regular costume because this is no good, you know what I'm saying? I know it was the 1980s. We had a different attitude towards things, but you know what? Sometimes little skirts, better choice. Okay. And then speaking of Archie, it had to come around. Here is Around the World with Archie. And this is number 29. And according to my notes, this is a Bob White cover. And it has stories inside by Bob White and some early work by Harry Lucy as well. Not to mention a shot at those X-ray specs. Don't miss them this time, folks. Look how much fun this guy is having looking at his hand. There's a girl right there, man. What are you doing? Oh, wait, I see. Guess you got to keep it on the DL, huh? Speaking of keeping it on the DL, here's Boris Karloff's Tales of Mystery. And check out this guy getting carried away with his work. Warning, they are already here. Oh, yeah, they are. You know it. This is a gold key. 15 center. So if you took a quarter to the store, you'd have enough for that. Soda pop, a little bit of, chewing gum. Something to snack on the front porch while you read it. In Defense of Victory. It's new, exciting, it's original. It's Captain Victory of the Galactic Rangers. And this is some early 1980s Jack Kirby goodness. Now, I have been picking these out of the dollar box for a good long time, and I'm almost positive that I don't have issue number 1. If I do, that's all right. Maybe this will be an upgrade. And then here's Captain Victory number 2. Let's have it, Spaceman. What is that? That thing! It's the beginnings of mass terror, Sheriff. And I'm not really sure what's up with Jack's choice of hairstyle at this point in time. It seemed everyone had that sort of Prince Valiant-y, Joan of Arc kind of look. And then here is Dagor the Invincible. And these Dagor books are pretty fantastic. You can still find these in the dollar bins in reader copy condition. Check this one out. Holy I thought this guy was supposed to be the hero, and here he is getting swept away by this thing. In all fairness, that is pretty creepy. I'd probably pass out myself. But these have fully painted Jesse Santos covers. So who could possibly resist? Check out that guy. Ha ha! Mrs. Calabash! Ha ha! It's a fiery earth monster challenges the sword of Dagor, the red ruby of Garloth. Oh yeah, you won't want to miss that. 20 cents. Sure, you can find that in the couch cushions. Return some soda bottles. And then here's another. It's brand new. And check these guys out. Hey, it's Dagor versus the Tomb of the Blind Dead. Dead warriors and monstrous demons encounter Dagor at the Castle of the Skull. Well, yeah. I mean, who do you expect to encounter there, to be honest with you? Guys are pretty much right on time, as far as it goes. And then here's some Daredevil. It's the Man Without Fear and the Death of Mike Murdoch. Oh, thank God. Mike Murdoch, what an annoying character. What a ridiculously ludicrous concept. I enjoy the early Daredevils, but I thought that was kind of a misstep as far as it went, and it went on for far too long. But nonetheless, a very moody cover by Gene Cowan. And then next up, much like a battered lover, I continue to come back because I cannot resist the allure of Ditko's world. It's static. No! Yes! Featuring It Lives. Decide now! Okay, I decided. I bought it. I keep buying these issues of Static because I want to understand. I want to get it. I want to absorb what Ditko's trying to get across to me. It's just like, obviously it meant a tremendous amount to him that he was willing to alter his very work patterns and, only do certain things that fell within the parameters of his philosophy. And so, I want to give that the credit it's due. I want to get it. You know what I mean? But then I look down in the corner right here and it says, "Get me?" Ha, ha, ha! So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not supposed to get it at all. Maybe Ditko's world is, one of my own interpretation, give or take. I guess as long as I still buy the comics, it doesn't really matter, does it? Not to him, he's dead. Cheers. Next up, I'll leave you to make your own jokes about this issue of Freedom Agent from Gold Key. He's been captured behind the Iron Curtain on a rescue mission, and the Freedom Agent becomes a victim of a fantastic experiment. Oh my. Kind of appreciate Gold Key giving you the image on the back here, if you're an aficionado of this sort of thing. This is Alberto Giacetti, painted cover. And then it's the illustrated story of ghosts in the world around us. What's this all about? I must say I was compelled. Picked this on up, and looks a little dry. Unsurprising. This is postcode, so it's not going to be too spooky. It's just a lot of talky talk. Nothing much in the way of dazzling artwork. Oh, but this is nice. I do like that splash. Why not? And then it's the Heroes World Catalog, number 2. As a kid, I couldn't believe that a place like the Heroes World existed. Even more so, I couldn't believe that, I didn't have one in my neighborhood. Apparently they were the sort of thing you'd find in California or New York, New Jersey, something like that. And, well, living in Pittsburgh didn't have anything like that. We were lucky to have Children's Palace. But nonetheless, looking through these was always amazing because you would see stuff that you would never get a crack at otherwise. How about a Hulk poncho? That is right. Hulk hate the rain. And then here's the legendary Batman alarm clock. Oh, yeah.
Something Jehoshaphat, Batman. We're needed again.
Right, Robin. We have to wake our friends.
Golly jeepers, Batman. I'll make the call.
Okay, Robin. Wake them all.
Time to get up and out of bed.
Good boy, Robin. Very well said.
And then we have your obligatory Migos section featuring all your favorite heroes and some of their vehicles, including my all-time favorite, the Captain America car. With a name like that, you can't go wrong. Now, this is the Heroes World Catalog. This one's from December, so maybe we'll take a closer look at this, closer to Christmas. Absolutely. Put a little something nice in your stocking. And then here's the Lone Ranger's famous horse, Hi-Yo Silver. Oh, I'm putting these things against my notes. I need my notes, absolutely, because you want to know that this is by Sam Savitt. Oh, yeah, these fully painted covers couldn't help but catch the eye on the newsstand, Dell Comics. Now, Dell did their own Lone Ranger comic specifically, but me, I'm more interested in Silver doing his own thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, he can carry his own book, absolutely. Oh, sure, Lone Ranger, he'll pop up every now and again, but, for the most part, it's the horse saving the day every single time. I love these because my mom, well, she was nutty about horses, absolutely. She made some incredible sacrifices to have a horse in her life, and so anytime I see these, think about Mom. Hi-Yo Silver. And then here's the Incredible Hulk. And this is number 348. And this is a great issue. Now, I hadn't been following the Hulk for a while. I was a little disappointed that John Byrne didn't get to finish out with his concepts for the run. I'd started reading it with issue 300 when the Hulk went completely savage. Dipped out when he went through all the different dimensions, time, space, and stuff. But when Byrne came back with 314, I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is exciting. And sadly, never really got to do what he wanted with the character. So, when I read this one just as a one-off, I was like, hey, why is the Hulk gray? Why is he a gangster now? What's up with that? But this was an absolute delight. As you can see, the Savage Hulk going up against the Absorbing Man. And I don't want to spoil this one for you, but the last page, well, it's an absolute knockout. Fantastic book. Speaking of fantastic books, I got this one for free. This was in the free pile. I guess because it has a little tear here, but who cares? I mean, the cover. This thing looks like it was printed, I don't know, 25 years ago. It's like new. That's how I see things. But this is an issue of Lassie. Growing up, we had collies, so I'm fond of Lassie, the old girl. And here she is, a number of different adventures. Lassie at the beach. So yeah, as far as it goes, the only thing better than a cheap comic, well, that's a free comic. Any day of the week. And then here is the House of Mystery, because people say, hey, Mink, you don't have enough DC comics. Well, I was never really a big DC guy, to be honest with you, but House of Mystery, especially when they feature Dial H for Hero, these are nutty fun, and I always get a kick out of them because, well, look at all you get, to be honest with you. For 12 cents, it's Dial H for Heroin, featuring the Terrible Toy Master, and this guy who looks kind of like Adam Warlock's Spooky Double from the 1970s. No wonder why he grew that afro. And then here's some Laugh comics. Oh yeah, you will laugh, damn it. What choice of sandwiches do we have, Betty? Peanut butter and sand or ham and sand? I'll have the latter, I think. Actually sounds pretty good. Used a little more roughage in my diet. And then here's some Life with Archie. And this is a Harry Lucy cover, from what I understand. Why is Archie hiding behind the crates? Well, you would too if you were wearing that shirt. It's nice to see when someone has a little bit of shame. Shame is healthy. Then we have Marvel Fanfare, number 2, 3, and 4. A couple months back, I showed Marvel Fanfare number 1 when I was growing up. That was kind of a wall book. You know, it was a little bit pricey. Never really had the opportunity to get my hands on it, but, well, I did a couple months ago, and I wanted to follow up on that. Here's a story of Spider-Man in the Savage Land with Kazar and Shauna. And here he is transforming into the Man-Spider. Then here's Marvel Fanfare number 3, and Sauron. Always like this guy, the idea of a, pterodactyl man who absorbs mutant powers. It's just so weird. And you get a two-sided cover there. Absolutely. This is Dave Cochran, and what's his name? McLeod. Bob? Maybe. And then here's number 4, and I believe this is Michael Golden. The Angel, Kazar, and Storm facing off against Sauron and a bunch of freaky dudes. Check that out. Reminds me of my AD&D days back in middle school. And then here's some Marvel superheroes featuring Iron Man and Daredevil. And I always like to pick these up because the presentation is just so compelling. Absolutely. It's cool to get a double bill featuring these characters. And the insides are always a surprise because this one has a script by Stan Lee, layouts by Wally Wood. And you have some pencils by Bob Powell. Makes for a very striking early Daredevil story. Then here's some Scary Tales. The wonderful Ditko cover. Very moody, very atmospheric. Like I said, I am looking forward to autumn, and this is the sort of autumn that I love. Leaves falling from the trees, approaching a potentially haunted house. You know it. I'm there. And here's some more Scary Tales with another Ditko cover. Absolutely. Keep away from me. This isn't in the script. Well, that's the nice thing about working for Charlton is you can pretty much write your own scripts. They just needed stories that badly. Charlton's main moneymaker was magazines, but they kept the presses running through the third shift at night, cranking out these comic books, and they were pretty profitable for both the publisher and the creators involved. And here we have The Promise. It's another issue of Scary Tales. This is the sort of cover that you can imagine someone having maybe just a single issue of this, but remembering this story. You know what I mean? Maybe they got it for 12 cents somewhere, maybe a hand-me-down, but just one of those things. That's the beautiful thing about old comics. Well, that and the smell. Speaking of the smell, it's mild, floral, hints of pecan. That is, of course, The Next Breed. It's Silver Star number 4 for the new era in comics. It's a visual novel from Jack Kirby. Microgeneticus. Is it one of God's or Satan's children? Silver Star meets Big Masai. He's the Goliath of the ghetto. Oh, yeah. Jack, you got out just in time. And then here's Spider-Woman, number 10. And I have no idea why I have this, to be honest with you. This may have come in a package from someone. I had picked it up, thinking, I got to get some books together for this particular episode. I'm like, I'll talk about this. And, not really a big Spider-Woman fan, but, this is notable for Jessica's costume being consumed by the killer moth. So, for all you fetishists out there, who knows? Maybe this is a desirable book to you. And then here's some Spidey super stories. Now, as a kid, Well, I loathe this book, to be honest with you. If I had the 35 cents to buy a comic, you can bet that I was going for Amazing Spider-Man or more likely Marvel Tales, because those were reprinting some of the best Spidey stories of that particular era. And these, well, they always seem like they were written down, to kids. Didn't really appeal to me, but now I do have a certain appreciation for them, a certain nostalgia, and hey, I'm collecting all the stamps. It's Invisible Girl #4, and that's some beautiful John Romita artwork. And then we're going to wrap things up with, it's a bit of a bittersweet thing, to be honest with you, when it comes right down to it. I've been on the hunt for Vicky, #1 through 4, for a good long time now. I'm an Atlas Comics aficionado, and Atlas Comics, along with all of their superheroes, sci-fi, fantasy, horror stuff, well, they dipped their toe in the teen humor pool too. And what they did was they picked up the stats from old issues of Tower Comics Tippy Teen. They changed the names, a few hairstyles, maybe recolored them a little bit along the way, and reprinted those stories as Vicky, #1 through 4. Now, #1 and 2 are thick, sort of square-bound books. I believe they're 64 pages. I had #1 for the longest time, picked up #2 a few months back, and now, well, here's 3 and 4. And these are tough books to find. You just don't see them, even when a store has a deep and wide Atlas selection, because, well, folks who collect Atlas, they want to complete the run. And so I'm happy to be able to say I have 3 and 4 at last. Looking forward to reading these, looking forward to noting the differences between these and those original Tippy Teen comics I love so much. But, Atlas, Tippy, that's like peanut butter and chocolate. How can I possibly resist? Absolutely. Well, it appears as though the box is empty. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Having a Drink with Mink. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.